The question is, what tool do you use to communicate value? Whether you live in the US or not, the place to start this conversation is the US dollar. Let's start with the Federal Reserve Act of 1913. It changed the rules of the US dollar, from the government creating US dollars to a private company named the Federal Reserve creating US dollars and then loaning them to the government. In their own words, when the Federal Reserve writes a check, it is creating money. And commercial banks create checkbook money whenever they grant a loan. Right after the Fed was created, we had a world war. After the war, we had the Roaring Twenties, then the crash, and the Great Depression. Shortly after the Great Depression started, gold got confiscated. Then gold got revalued. They'd created way too many US dollars to back them by gold at the old rate. Shortly after that, we had another world war. To quote Ron Paul, "It is no coincidence that the century of total war coincided with the century of central banking." Then, after the Second World War, the Bretton Woods system was established. The United States had become so rich that the whole world pegged their monies to the US dollar, which was then pegged to gold. That lasted for a little while, but in 1968, silver certificates were defaulted on. The money held by the US public was now pegged to nothing. Internationally, it was still pegged to gold until 1971 when President Nixon, quote, temporarily suspended the convertibility of the dollar into gold. At which point, our money, the base of all monies in the world, was tied to nothing. And then guess what? The people who had the power to create a whole lot of US dollars created a whole lot of dollars. Ever since then, the banksters have been draining the wealth of the world into their pockets. Here's the US debt clock. This is the measure of how fast they're doing that in the name of all US citizens. We're at $21.5 trillion.